Hey, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Before you take the trade, don't forget to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button, all that good stuff that the market tends to like over at the YouTube sphere, right? Only helps the channel to continue to grow. And if I give you great information, let the algorithms know so that way we can conquer the market. But what I want to break down a little bit is what is going on in Q. You were respected the 200-day moving average, and now you don't look like you're as strong as August, right? So there's a couple of reasons that this could be happening, and I remember breaking this down with y'all a while back, and I was like, we are kind of like slow walking and choppy all into this area, and we're creating these areas of order blocks, and that's why it's so important for you to mark off your levels, is because it will let you know what the possibilities are. So when I say very, very important that you do your job and do your homework early. So remember, we kind of drew out, it was like, well, you know what, this kind of looks like a rejection point somewhere around here, and we called this a possible order block. If we're going to break above, we need to see something along the lines of a break, come back, retest, and then take off to the upside. And we were targeting like 24,000, 25,000, even 26 and some change, because we was looking at possible extension. But if you notice here, we did not hold above there. When we closed above, when they tested it, to see, almost like a builder testing a support or their construction that they created and kind of jumping on top of it, right? And the goal is to see if it's going to be structurally sound with a strong foundation. And we didn't get that. We didn't get that because of multiple reasons. It could be because they were looking for more sell side, buy side liquidity. It could be because all the accumulation is here. It could be because the bearish divergence that we've been. Again, we are not one to just sit here and be like, oh, well, this is it, because we're not trying to report the market. We're trying to make money in the market. So there's going to be some anticipating factors for you to look for. And you could see as soon as we got under this order block, the market has been selling off for now going on its fourth week as we're heading into quad witching. So very, very, very important as you go ahead and look over your levels. Let's go ahead and keep this party going. The next ticker, it is oh, why doesn't my chart look like that? Oh, that was weird. Anyways, the next ticker we're going to look at, it is oil. This is going to affect the gas prices when it's all said and done. We got under the register. Remember when we kind of marked off this level and we were looking at this area and this area, we was thinking, oh, well, you know what? This could be a nice little opportunity for us to catch that little bounce and reverse, but we haven't found anything that gave us a opportunity, right? We got these two touches, right? These two touches here is letting us know that there was a possible trend, but when we got back into this area, they tested the order block, same order block from here. And when they tested that order block, it rejected and came lower, but they came back to that support. This point here is lower than that point. Could this be the pivot that they're looking for to make oil continue to rise? Well, the bullish divergence that was actually forming here is putting some pressure on that downside. So we're going to be really looking at what oil has. The next one we're going to look at is gold. Gold is not getting to that 3,000. Remember, we kind of did multiple blocks here because this was going to be a very interesting price action. It does look very choppy when you look at it from this granular. Well, let me come to a weekly. That does not look like a trend, right? Because this was trends that people were making money on gold, and this right here is just a lot of sideways action. So that said, if we look at this, there's a possibility we could test this trend line up into this area, and that's probably what everybody that is trying to play gold to the upside is looking for. But there is no supporters that's just running to rally with them. Depending on how this block responds, and if they can, create some type of capitulation and force the market to kind of go back to the upside, there's a strong possibility this thing can just drop and come into our gap, the contract expiration gap that I was talking about a while back. But don't forget, we got the 50 moving average, and it could bounce from there as well. Silver looks like this. Again, until it breaks this, it's not going to drag gold up, and it's so close to its 50 moving average. I won't be surprised if it breaks the 50 moving average. where this trend is sitting, that this thing could go ahead and break down very fast and drag gold with it. Here we go. This is the British pound. We are dropping on the market. We're continuing to diverge away from the the currency of the euro. Normally we're in sync with this one, so there is a lot of weird things that's happening. So if this continues to rise, that means the dollar should be falling, right? So let's go ahead and take a look here. Here's natural gas. Natural gas is still kind of getting in through that arc. Remember, I drew this arc for y'all. Look at that price action they did yesterday. Bang! Hit the top of the channel. Bang! Hit the reversal. You could have made money that way and back that the other way. But again, I think a lot of this is because the cooler weathers is still coming in and natural gas prices is going to shoot up as well. This arc that I kind of showed y'all before, it looks like we're starting to break out of that arc. So just keep that in mind. All right. And then the next one is the Russell. We are going down on the Russell so that we're not even investing into small caps. And this is my 800 daily. If we break under this, it could be the signal that we're looking for, where everybody's pulling money out of the Russell, because that will bring us under the 2000. I already gave you this warning from last week anyways. But we could be breaking under the 2000, and when we get under the 2000, could that be the signal for them to invest back into the large caps? Because right now the small caps is not where they're trying to park their money right now. I'm not sure exactly why not, especially with all the talks about tariffs and everything else. Or could it be that everybody's just sitting on cash on, on their hands as well, because they're like, well, we don't know where the market is going to go, and Trump is saying a lot of wild stuff, so we're gonna keep that going. And then the last one is the infamous dollar. Wait a minute, market's dropping, dollar's dropping. What is happening here? So now the market is following suit with the dollar when it's all said and done. And when we got ourselves this whole entire back and forth where we're not too sure exactly where the market will carry itself, that's when we're going to have ourselves the problem. That's when we're going to be facing ourselves a challenge where, when does the market rebalance itself? Don't force yourself into the market. If you cannot figure out what's happening with the market, don't put yourself in a position that you could lose money. Right now, the dollar is following what NQ is doing. We got massive drop for the past 7 days, and we have slow drip drop for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so. So be extremely vigilant, because this dollar could bounce, and a strength in the dollar actually drops the market again. So do we go back to our normal status where we pivot and deviate? Or is this a signal to the market that with all the tariff talks and everything else, that now the dollar is going to be reliant to how the market moves? Are we going to stay in this convergence? These are the questions that you have to ask, and as traders, that is our job. So that said, let's go ahead and look at some tickers. Who is dropping us like this? Because the only ones that would be dropping us like that is the ones that has a lot of international exposure, if you really think about it, right? So let's take a peek at some major ones. Let's talk about Nvidia first, right? Nvidia is dropping. Kind of looks a little bit like the Qs with that double top action. Maybe their double top is over in this area, and maybe in the video is going to drop down into the $91. Are they going to hit our 800-day moving average? It's been a while since it actually hit this. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Let's give that. It's been a while since it hit the 800 moving average, right? So we're talking about all the way back in January 2023. So that's been a while. So could we be testing that? Because the 200, sure enough, did not hold at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit. Here's our trend. Bang. That's the one that put pressure. Then we got our deviations. You know how I like my trend lines. That's a deviation. And this one is the deviation that we're on right now. All of this has to be broken before we try to reverse. Do we have a setup that can hold us? Yeah, we got this right here, which is the August 5th bounce, where everybody bought the dip when it was all said and done. Could we hit the brakes before we even get to the 800? Very possible. They are paying dividends of 1 cent. That's how much they pay in dividends? Wow. 1 cent for $100. I don't know. I'll keep my pennies. Anyways, this one right here, it is looking to break it again. The reason why they do low dividends when you got tickers like this is because they are in the technology space, so the growth potential is higher than the dividend that they have, but they want to entice original supporters that started with a video way back in the days and try to control their price action for the most part. That's why they do splits and everything else, to kind of balance off, so that way when new investors come in, they can be a little bit stronger. All right, so just keep that in mind as well. And if you look at it, if we actually let this whole entire M pattern play out, this thing should be coming down to this level, because that should be the measure move. Let's take another look. Microsoft, another major space inside of the international exposure, right? It looked like it already did its consolidation and rejection and breaking down, so that way it can push to the downside. Could this be one of the ones that is going to put a major weight? Now, we have not even visited any of that uptrend. We haven't hit any of these structures in itself. We haven't done none of these things at all. So this could really have a massive weight onto the market, especially when it gets under the downtrend, where they have multiple micro trends like this one here, and all of them under such that is actually pushing the price down. I'm looking at this level just in case they use this as a support, which is the back end of a downtrend, and this could be part of our bull flag where we had this nice pull back and then explode to the upside. That's why I don't want to move this trend line. But if you look at the micro trend, this micro trend to that micro trend has made a lower low after breaking this whole entire trend here to this upside, and this could be the one that actually really tanks us. That's another one there. Let's do one more international. Tesla, especially with the China pressure that's going on over there, right? Look at that. G's on P's. Got to its 800, broke and closed below it. We're probably going to get a touch to the 238 and then get one more extension to the downside. I believe all the buyers that was here are the ones that is actually pushing the market to the downside, because they probably took their profits over in this upper register. They accumulated, pushed, accumulated here again and pushed, accumulated here and pushed, and then when they got to this level, took their profit, and now the rest of the market is capitulated and following suit. Again, whenever you are taking a nice little uptrend, you have your 236 bounce, you have your 382 bounce, you have your 50 in golden ratio bounce. When we broke under the golden ratio, that is danger territory. This is why the 300 level on Tesla was very tricky. Hence the reason why the market tried its best towards the end of February to get back above that 300, and they just could not. And now we got this extension of this failure, because that was where our 786 is, and we're getting a pure reversal. So this whole entire extension is about to give everything up. We're probably going to see Tesla at around 214, 210, 205, maybe even 200. So let's keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and take a peek at something that's a little bit more domestic, and that's why small caps are so important, and everything else, like your AMD, for example. They do have an international exposure, but they also have domestic lead a little bit when it comes down to it, because everybody goes to NVIDIA, but they have a lot of Intel's business in itself. They're starting to fail their 800. Could this be why the Russell is coming down? Let's take another peek. Mind you, the Russell is a large space. It's like the 2,000 items in there. It's ridiculous on how many different tickers that are inside of there. So I don't want anyone to go ahead and try to plot out 2,000 tickers when it's all said and done. And actually, let me give y'all a little bit of a list in itself. Let's see. Gonna give y'all the craziness behind the Russell 2000. Like, for example, you got things like Sprouts. You have things like Hims. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the earnings for Hims. That one got a nasty beating. Actually, let's pull that one up. Took a nasty beating. You can see nice little spike up going into it, going up into earnings, and as soon as they reported earnings, everybody took their money out of the market, and this is one of them in itself, and that put some weight to it. It gave away half at this point. To kind of give y'all an idea on that. Trying to see some of them that has more bigger prices. Financial services. Try to see what bank is inside of that one. I want the full list. I can't remember where I got the full list of the holdings. It's only giving me the top 10. Bear with me. I'm gonna get y'all some details in this one. Okay, I think this is giving me what I was looking for. Okay. But not the prices. Let me see if I can recognize anything that actually stands out. Ionic. Oh, everybody ran into that one. Oh my God, DigitalOcean, I haven't seen that since the pandemic. Riot. Especially with what's going on with Bitcoin. Riot's getting his butt whooped. That's pulling it down. But the goal between the 2000 is because there would be some Marqeta. Oh, I remember those days. The purpose of the 2000 is because you want enough of the 2000 to actually hold up the market and hold it to a point where it's covered. So I'm gonna grab a couple of these here. So let's go with historical Marqeta, and then we're gonna grab ourselves DigitalOcean. We could go with that one. That was Doc N, and oh, I can't. I didn't think that this one was in there, but I'm gonna leave that one alone. For those that know, you know, AZZ. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one. What your ass doing? Anyways, let's go back to the top 10 of the IWM holdings. We do Sprouts, Doc N, and Marqeta. So let's go ahead and look at those. So we got Sprouts, SFM. Major drop off. Major drop off. As soon as it pulled up to earnings, the brakes hit. You're talking about dropping. Jeez. This was a $178 stock. There's a lot of people that's upset there, right? Nice little move down. That's the one that's pulling us down. Another one that's probably pulling us down, Marqeta. Now this was already at its bottom, so could this be accumulation? If you don't know this one, I do suggest you do some research. You already know yours truly has invested into this. If you ever used any of this buy now pay here later, a lot of them do virtual cards, and that's where Marqeta comes into play. You go ahead and check that company out. Very interesting on where it is there. And then I said Doc N, DigitalOcean Holdings. Pretty of a chunk of a drop off, but it's more like a chunk of a drop off after barely even going anywhere. It looks like we're probably doing a little bit of a sideways movement. So these are probably some of the tickers that are just sitting under the radar. Do some research. These could be sound investments because every company in some way, fashion, or form got into the Russell 2000, and they used the equity that they gained from the Russell 2000 to end up being an S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100. So you want to find some of the good ones and filter all the bad ones. Again, there's 2,000 companies, so you're gonna have to do some research, and you're gonna have to have loads of patience, depending on your time horizon of retirement or what age you are, like that's what's going to be. So if you want to do something a little bit on the riskier side, that's where the Russell 2000 comes into play. You want to do something that's safer, S&P 500, and then you got your NASDAQ 100. Again, not saying you need to be investing because I'm not no fiduciary, but I will tell you this market pullback will give some opportunities for some upside, and that is where you're going to go ahead and be like, oh my God, my portfolio looks amazing. And that's what I'm trying to teach y'all, is how to recognize some of the patterns and propensity of being profitable. That said, that is our whole entire video. I bid you a fun farewell, and I will see y'all later. Kind of give y'all a nice little recap. YouTube, we're doing a whole entire pivot. We will not be doing any more live streams. We will not be doing any more live streams. All of them are going to be recorded videos just like this to get you prepared before the market. So don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and bell button, because these are going to give you setups and preparations before you go into the market. Hence the ritual.
Say it like this guy.
And that's my son that just refuses to let me record in peace. And when it's all said and done, we are looking for, before you take the trade, right? Before you take the trade, find your opportunities, do your homework early, and I would love for you to go ahead and use this instrument and this video and this channel as a good tool, so that way when you take your trade, you know exactly what you're going to do. All right, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and bell button. I also have links to my one-on-one is down below. You can go ahead and click on my link tree, and I will bid you fine for. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.